So it's thinking about your heart and even the architecture of your heart and the beating and the drumming, all those little details of the heart. Beautiful. So welcoming yourself to your practice and feeling that loving kindness towards yourself. So go ahead and get yourself really cozy and warm and comfy. So if your back has been a little bit tender, you might need a waterfall pillow on top. I went through a lot of discomfort in the last little while from doing too much on the farm and just doing too much in general. And so I've had to take care of myself by amplifying the support, so bringing a little bit more support in. And my yoga practice has been, the majority of it has been restorative, gentle somatic yoga to get myself all back. So thank goodness we have the self-correcting, self-adjusting tool right here. So if you would like to have your knees bent, then heel toe your feet a little wider. Let the inner knees knock, or go ahead and lengthen through one leg at a time. The other option, if your lower back is really tender, just by having the sit bones rest in the floor in this shape, you can press into your feet, lift the sit bones, and drag a blanket underneath so that you have a little bit more height, a little more elevation. And we come out of the back bend just a little more. And then close those beautiful eyes and feel what you've brought into your practice as you connect. Dust off your visionary skills and notice the internal landscape. And just feel, does it feel like a meandering meadow? And if it feels like a meadow, is there a river? Is there water? And what is that like? Where is it running? Is it trickling? Is it running smoothly? Or is it racing? Let's take some deliberate conscious breaths now. In through the nose, out through the nose or the mouth. So on your next inhale, in through the nose, feel the filling quality of the bottom of the lungs, the middle, and then the top. Let it expand underneath the collarbone. And as you exhale, notice how it deflates. And you get a little heavier. Follow that for a few conscious breaths. Inhale, feel that filling quality, an expansion of the lungs. You might feel the rib cage move. And as you exhale, notice that movement, like a balloon deflating and then filling up, a little bit at a time. No hurry. Let's take that conscious breath now a little further. So we'll bring this conscious breath right into our alignment breath. So notice right above the crown, this illumination, this bright light, whatever that is for you. And it might even be the color of red or pinks, the color of love, whatever that is for you. Maybe it's a big heart right above the crown. And it might be glittering, sparkling. And then downward by the feet, your earth star, maybe just below. And what does that look like for you? It might be a circle of swirling oranges and yellows and reds, mingling all together as they move, starting to generate energy as we feed our awareness into it. Let's take 2 cleansing breaths before we start. Take your next inhale all the way in. Let the belly fill right up, broaden and widen. Hold filled, and then exhale it all out. And then again, inhale, fill right up, feel that expansion. And then invite sound. Beautiful. As you fill the belly, fill the lungs, invite your awareness down into the earth star. As you exhale, feel your awareness gently travel all the way up through the energy centers, up above the crown, grabbing hold of that connected energy and carrying it down as you inhale all the way through. We'll share this energy with each energy center. Exhaling all the way up. Share this love, this exploration. Allow curiosity to guide you here. Exhaling it all the way up. Inhaling all the way down. As you take your time and come into your alignment, and notice what that feels like today, in this moment. Pausing in each space now for maybe a comfortable count of 2, 1, and then exhaling it all out. And pause comfortably for your count of 2, 1. Inhaling awareness down to the earth star. Exhaling above the crown. Take your time. Two more. Enjoy emptying the lungs. A light little pause, empty, and notice what that feels like. Gather that brightening. Journey all the way down as you inhale. Grab a hold of that earthiness, let it rebound all the way back up. And then one more just like that. Inhaling nice and full and deep. And as you exhale, follow that exhale. Notice how far it travels tonight, in this moment. And then notice that internal landscape. Are there any subtle shifts from before? What is the view like? Maybe it just feels good and calm, peaceful. Nice, long, full, deep breaths. Plenty of space on the inside now. Take a deep dive right in between the brow, where you think the middle of the brain lives. You might be able to feel behind the back of the skull if you rock your head a little bit from side to side. And then pause and journey inward from that place. And breathe. Spend a little bit of time feeling and noticing the breath enter this space. Send it those big pink hearts filled with joy, filled with compassion, as we amplify this love factor now. And one more breath just like that. Notice the harmony. Then from here, go ahead and bend one knee at a time if the legs are nice and long. Let the one knee bend and plant that foot, and then the next. Feel both feet from the heels to the toes. Big toe to baby toe. Feel that width. Press into it and feel the sit bones get a little lighter on the floor. Lengthen them towards the sit bone or to the heels, to the bottom of your mat, and then lower. A little lift of the sit bones, lengthen, and then lower. And then one more for good luck. We're going to come into that area quite a bit. We're going to come into frog legs in a moment. So notice that lower back and notice how it feels in this back bend. And then drag the sit bones just over, just a hair, and come on over so that you can take the props right out from your back. Press them off to the side and come flat now on your back. Leave the knees bent for a moment. And give the back of the skull a little rock, just a light little rock here from side to side. Notice the tipping spot of the back of the crown here, the back of the cranium, the skull. Play. Let yourself be playful here. And connect to your inner child, that inner grin, that vulnerable you, where all your power lives. Let yourself really be curious about this rounding of the back of the skull. What is that like? Just like you've landed in your body for the first time here. And then pause and feel that spot on the back where your head is placed on the floor. Travel up from that place to the brow, and then come right into the center of the brain once again. Take a few deep breaths and notice how the coolness can seep in. In through the nose, like two beams of bright light entering the center of the brain. And then exhale it all out. 2 more just like that. Cleaning, cleansing, inhaling, and then exhale. And 1 more. And then leave the knees bent here and just notice, walk the heels just out a little bit so the inner knees will knock and the hands can be by your side. Feel now from the toes, let them bounce on the floor just a wee bit, up and down, up and down. And then rest the toes. Let the knees sway so you can feel the feet on the floor. To the big toe edge, to the baby toe edge. The knees can sway. And as the knees sway from one side to the other, notice the back of the pelvis and the sensation. This is the area that just came out of a back bend. So feeling and sensing any tenderness, any sensitivity, or does it just feel good right there? Just the right amount of friction, maybe. And then pause, let the inner knees knock, follow from the outer heels to the outer knees to outer hips, from one hip to the other. And then all the way through that lower lumbar sacral area to the back of the shoulders. Feel the back of the shoulders sink and soften down after a long held back bend. Notice the neck, specifically the outer edges of the neck, as you gently take the head and rock from side to side. Can you feel the sensation? Can your awareness feel into the outer edges of the neck? And then come into stillness. Take an inner snapshot right here and notice what you feel. And then from here, we're going to come into our frog legs. So leave the knees bent. We'll start with our right leg. Leave the left leg exactly where it is, where the knee is pointing up to the ceiling. And let your arms be down by your side, the length of your torso. And they can be assist, so they can be palms up. So as that right leg comes down, that right hand can be right there on the outer edge of that thigh, ready to assist it, or it can be wedged like a braking system right underneath the edge of the body so that your range of motion will be smaller. So yogi's choice there. We have everything we need. Just let the right leg come outward slowly, smoothly. This methodical, deliberate movement out, and then slowly, like the second hand on a clock, back. And maybe it feels delicious to 2 or 3 times. When you feel complete, you can pause that effort. And then leave that knee pointed up when you're ready to come on over to the other side for a brief moment. Feel the lower spine and notice what's going on there. A lot of communication. So what is that conversation like? Now let the other side, when you are good and ready, you can stay on the right side for as long as you'd like, and then switch. So maybe that arm is on the outer edge as your braking system, or you can use the palm up, ready to meet and greet and offer some assistance. Notice what muscles are required. Feel the outer hips and that lower lumbar sacral spine. And then once you feel complete on that side, we'll bring them both together. So you can go ahead and have the arms by your side, knees pointed up. Slowly, the knees can come out for a comfortable count of 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then slowly backward, as slow as you comfortably can. And if you feel a little wobble, 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 pause there and allow the pelvis to wobble. Let the legs move in a wobble. And you might even start that wobble if you feel it just slightly. And allow that tension, its avenue out, its magic carpet out. Let it shake. So you can deliberately come into that shake if you feel it just a wee bit somewhere. Two or three is plenty. And maybe for you, it's one and you've come into the shake more. Or maybe for you, coming up and down feels delicious. So how about one or two more breaths here? And then when you can, lengthen through one leg and let it flop. Let the feet just splay outward. Lengthen through the other leg. Let it flop. And notice where the feet are. Feel that lower lumbar sacral area. Relax the jaw more. And we'll come into the next add-ons here. We'll start with the right leg. So let the right toes point up. Drag that heel by bending that right knee and drag that heel up until the full foot comes down on the floor with a press. Feel that press. Strengthen. Notice the power in that press. And then let that knee come outward, just like it has been. And notice how the hand and the arm can be there for it. When you can, drag that baby toe edge downward until the full leg can just go like a kerplunk and let it rest. Breathe into that side. No need to come into any movement right now. Just allow it to rest and observe as your body absorbs all of this goodness. And then again, same side, let the right toes point up, drag that heel. Feel the left side. Maybe it's participating a wee bit by pressing down. Maybe the back of the head and the shoulders participate. As that right knee bends, press that foot into the floor. What does that do to the pelvis? Let the knee swing out to the support and then drag slowly, baby toe edge downward, and observe the conversation in the lower back from side to side. Notice any deep-seated exhaustion might feel like it's gently melting and dissolving out from the center, from the bone out. And one more breath just like that. So let's go ahead and do one more same side. Point those toes up. Drag that heel by bending the knee. Let that knee slowly splay out. Take your time dragging it down. It might be in one smooth, continual movement now. And then let it rest. Notice how well it can rest. And we'll come on over to the other side now. So when you're ready, left toes point up. Drag that heel. Press that foot and feel the power of that foot pressing. It might just be a little. And then allow the knee to come out and maybe only a little bit out. So your hand might be right there. And then drag that baby toe edge down wherever you are and let it go. Notice what you feel in that lower back, the conversation on that side. It might share some of it to the other. Give yourself permission to stay in that quiet stillness for longer, or go ahead and point those left toes up. Bend that knee and drag the heel. Feel the foot plant and root. Press into it like stamping it down. And then go ahead and let the knee splay outward. Notice your unique range of motion as you gently drag it down and let it go. Breathe into whatever subtle sensations show up, like they have their own lung. And one more breath like that. And let's do one more for good luck. Point the left toes up. Maybe a continual movement on this one. Feel the full foot as the knee comes out. And then drag it down. And let it gently go. Oh. Notice from side to side all the sensation. So now we'll just do it just a little bit in reverse order. So we'll start with the right side. The baby toe edge will drag up. So it might feel like you're dragging that foot up the inseam of the left leg as a knee stays splayed out. Then let the leg come up, maybe with some assistance of the right arm. And then drag the heel downward and let it go. Stay on that same side. Take a breath there in stillness, and then we'll come into it again. Baby toe edge drags up, knee bends. So however high up that left side is entirely up to your body. It never lies. So allow it. Allow whatever feels good to be. And then relax that effort. Feel and sense any subtle sensations. And then one more for good luck. Maybe a continual movement. Maybe you don't need assistance this time. Maybe you do. One more breath right there. And we'll come on over to the other side. So left leg now, baby toe edge drags up. It'll feel like the foot is coming up the inseam. That hand can come to the outer edge and guide it up. Then heel drags down, feel the drag of the heel, and then let it go. Notice what you notice. Nice deep breaths. As the body starts learning something new and letting go of any unsupported energy that it might have been carrying. This unlearning. And then again, baby toe edge drags up to wherever it feels good. Carry the knee up, drag the heel down. Take a deep breath into any subtle sensation that starts to bubble up to the surface. And then one more for good luck. Feel that baby toe edge. Let it drag as the knee bends. You can assist it up or let it all on its own. Drag the heel and let the toes dance the dance of joy here. Back of the head, let it rock and notice what you feel. And then take that internal snapshot of what you have right now. Then go ahead and bend up at the knees. Drag the hips over to one side and roll right over to your belly. We're going to come into snake dance now. So some of you might need a blanket underneath the front of the hips. So if you do, you can first come into it with the elbows underneath the shoulders. So it's here we are in Sphinx pose. And the tops of the feet are down on the floor. Beautiful. And just feel that for a moment. Feel the draping of the spine with the elbows underneath the shoulders. This is the pose that we're going to come into. But before we come into it, go ahead and stack the hands. Bring the elbows out and your forehead on top of that stack. Bend up at the knees so the heels are above the back of the knees, and sway the feet from side to side. And sense and feel the lower spine, outer hip area. Just notice, does it feel tender? It was targeted. And so if you've been having a little bit of inflammation in this area, a little tenderness, this is your practice. Let the forehead become heavy. And then go ahead and bring the tops of the feet to rest on the floor. Then drag the elbows underneath the shoulders. Notice that when you press into the tops of the feet, it splints the lower spine. So notice how that feels. It might just feel delicious if it's been tender, and then relax and know that you can come there in this dance. So on your next inhale, look between the thumbs and a little bit forehead and a little bit forward and press into the tops of the feet. And as you exhale and empty, look to where the belly is, and it might lift off of the floor. Inhaling, looking forward, let the belly press. Close those beautiful eyes once you have the gist of this. It doesn't have to look at like anything in particular. Just a beautiful dance of the spine. Noticing all the subtleties as you breathe. This is a beautiful one to gain that rhythm as we gain that strength in that area. So how about one more, both ways? Inhaling and then exhaling. Notice the subtle differences now. Beautiful. And then from here, we're going to come right over onto our backs for just a brief body scan. So let the knees remain bent, heel them wide, and let the arms come down by your side as you scan the body from the outer heels to the outer knees to the outer hips, hip to hip, all the way to the shoulders. Sweep your awareness up and down the back body. Feel into the rib cage, the armpit area, the back of the shoulders. Give the back of the skull a light little rock. Notice the outer edges of the neck. They might be becoming a little bit more clear. As we amplify our awareness, it starts to grow from the inside out. We take this valuable real estate. And then pause. Take that internal snapshot of this moment. Let the inner knees come away from each other and drag the hips to one side as you roll to the other. We're going to come into our beloved flamingo. And we're going to come into the real pink flamingo this time. So we're really going to use the leg, that top leg. So this is where you might need a pillow. So you We'll notice if you bring that lower arm out and the head down. Does that feel delicious on that lower shoulder? Or will it feel better for you to bring the head so that your spinal column is in alignment? So the head can be down and the brain loves it down, or it can be in alignment with the spine. Both are beautiful. I'll represent the head down for today, just because my body is allowing me to today. So each day it's a little bit different. Once you're where you need to be, notice this shape. Feel the top leg, specifically that top big toe. It's going to be our highlighter. Let it live right in the arch of that lower foot for now. And then draw a line down from that place to the bottom of the mat, or whatever feels like the bottom. You'll lengthen and let that hip gently rock forward. You'll outreach that bottom hand a little or a lot and roll to the forehead maybe. You might want to pause there and relax and soften a wee bit. And then here's the flamingo part. You'll drag that top leg all the way up. Let it super drag on your clothes. Feel that drag all the way up, up, up into the belly. The hip will come back, the shoulder, and that top arm will drag across that lower arm. You can stay there if you've been living in a lot of discomfort, and drag that top leg down, forehead down, and then drag that top leg up. So notice how you feel. Maybe dragging that top hand over the heart center, and then allowing it to unfurl and the gaze to follow feels delicious. Or maybe you stay in a smaller movement that's unique to your body in this moment. Every time we dip the toe into the river, a different sensation. Every time we visit this body, a different body, these subtle sensations will shift. Another variation, that top arm can arc up as the leg gently drags up and down. It can also drag above the crown in an arc as the top leg drags up and down. That'll be the last add-on. And know that these add-ons are invitations. So go ahead and decline if it doesn't feel delicious. Your job is to explore, be curious, enjoy, and breathe deep here. If stillness is calling your name and you're in a twist with that top thigh into the belly, arms wide winged, you can remain there, or you can take that outer arm up above the crown. Let it drape. Wherever you are, breathe deeply, enjoy the stillness or gentle movement. full body integration. So really stirring it up here. From temples to toes, the body can have a full conversation from top to bottom. And how about one more breath wherever you are? Then allow yourself to come right back to start. Roll right onto your back. Leave the knees bent and observe for a moment here and notice. Heel toe your feet wide, let the inner knees knock. Notice the outer ankles up to the outer knees. Feel the lower back for a moment from one side to the other. Might be humming and you might feel a buzz. This soft tissue, this beautiful movement now all the way to the back of the shoulders. Give the back of the skull a little rock as you witness the outer edges of the neck here. Then come into your stillness and take a deep breath. Job well done. Ha. And then you'll go ahead and drag your hips over to the other side and let yourself get ready to come on over to the other side. So maybe on one side you didn't need a pillow. So observe on this side if it feels better to come on over. And if you have anything in your hair, you might need to take it out like I did. So feeling now the head come on down and you let yourself get comfortable. We'll come straight into it when you're ready. Feel the top leg. The big toe will draw that line down. Let that hip come forward. Outreach that ball hand. Come onto your forehead and take a few deep breaths as you relax as much as you comfortably can in that shape. Give yourself permission to stay there longer. Or on your next natural breath, you can gently drag that top leg up as high up to the belly as you comfortably can. The hip will come back, the shoulder, and you might even come all the way into the twist with the nose following that outer arm. Coming in and out of this with that loving kindness towards yourself, feeling and sensing all the details. You feel a little something, you're doing it right. That top leg simply drags up and down. Top arm can drag or arc up towards the ceiling. Paint that rainbow. Pause here and there if you'd like. And give yourself permission to come into the other variation where the arm, as the leg drags down, the arm can draw a semicircle above the crown. And wherever you are, one more breath on this side. And then gently roll onto your back with your knees bent. For the next one, you'll need your block close by, so you can bring it on your belly. Or if you don't have a yoga block, you can roll up your blanket and have it about that thick, not too thick, very close to a yoga block. That's going to go in between the upper thighs. So before we get there, just feel now with the knees bent, the eyes closed, arms by your side, heel toe your feet wide, and just notice what we have in this moment. From the feet to the knees, from the knees to the hips, hips to the shoulders. Rock the back of the skull so you can feel the neck. Notice the edges. Are they a little bit clearer? And relax and soften. We're going to come into beads on a necklace now. So go ahead and take the block or a blanket in between the pubic bone and the knees, so the upper inseam of the legs. Give a light little squeeze of the block and then a release. As you squeeze the block, the pelvic floor gently domes upward, and then you soften. So all these domes that we have in the body are very, very strong. So that particular one, our mula bandha, which is a root lock, is associated with our lower back. And it's so delicious to just give a light little squeeze and then a release. And then pause that effort and have your arms down by your side, palms down. Take a deep inhale. As you exhale, send the back of the shoulders down into the floor. Feel the heart rise, and then relax that effort. Two more like that. Inhale. Exhale, back of the shoulders downward, maybe a little less this time. And then relax that effort. And then one more. Take a deep inhale. And how about just a little 1%? Back of the shoulders can come down just 1%. Just a tiny little boop. And then relax. Ah. So let's bring that all together. But we will, this time we'll be bringing the weight of the pelvis up off of the floor. So for some of you, that will be a lot. So you can load the muscles and not bring the pelvis too high off of the floor. So you simply feel them load and then release. So how high the pelvis comes up off the floor is entirely up to your body. So please listen to it. So take a deep inhale. As you exhale, let the shoulders come down. Squeeze the block. Press into the heels, the toes, and let the pelvis feel like it's rolling upward. And then you'll pause. Drag the shoulders to the ears like earrings, and then roll down the spinal column from the top, the middle, and then the bottom. Drag the arms down, let them carry the shoulders with them, and then pause. Take a deep breath, and ha. We'll do that 2 more times. Take another deep breath in, Back of the shoulders come down, not too much. Feel the length of the arms. Squeeze the block as you press into the feet and roll the pelvis up. Maybe to a new height, not so high. Drag the shoulders to the ears and roll through the top of the spine first. Mid-spine, lower spine. Then drag the fingertips down, 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 and take a deep breath. And how about one more for good luck? Take a deep breath. Back of the shoulders come down. Feel the length of the arms. Squeeze that block as you press into the feet and roll up through. Shrug. And then roll through the spinal column. And then relax and soften here. You could take the block right out as we come into our final pose of the day, Shavasana. Let the legs rest on your bolster underneath the knees or the upper thighs. Maybe the feet come together or you just If you're craving flat, the body can come nice and flat. Use your blanket as a blanket and let yourself rest and restore here. Our poem for tonight, Candle Burning. Be the candle burning on the windless night. Dive deep into the sea of tranquility. Insight is just a breath away. Be the candle burning on the windless night. Dive deep into the sea of tranquility. Insight is just a breath away. By Tanya Munchkina. It's a long name. Beautiful. Thank you for that poem, Tanya. Give yourself permission to stay here longer, or gently deepen through the breath. Any small movements through the fingers, the toes, a long stretch, a hugging in. A roll from side to side. Rest on your side body and connect once again to that playful you, that inner grin. Let the corners of your mouth curl up and all that warmth flood in. As you press into the floor, let the head roll up last and come into your comfortable seat. Whatever that means for your body tonight. So not necessary for the knees to bend. The wall is a beautiful thing. Lean into it or the couch and keep the blanket for your warmth. Bring the palms together. Feel that warmth of appreciation towards yourself for showing up. Thumbs at the sternum, the heart center with a light little press of support. Take a breath into it. And then a light little bow as you pour this goodness out beyond these walls to all. Namaste. And thank you for your practice.